Hello, fellow lovers and movie lovers alike. I'm Hailey.
And I'm Javi. And you're listening to the Just Be Poly podcast, where we discuss movies and at the end, answer the question,
could these problems be solved with polyamory?
We'll find out. So, we've been doing this podcast for 50 times now. So, this is a new podcast, and we're going to start it off with 50 First Dates. Hailey picked this one. Please tell us why you picked this one, Hailey.
Okay, so I picked this movie because it's a long-standing favorite of mine. I've seen it maybe 30 times, and I always enjoy it, except for this actually, this viewing that we did for this show. I didn't enjoy it as much because the comedy didn't hit me as hard as it did in the past. I think that it was a lot more offensive to women, and that made it a little harder to enjoy. I found myself getting a little angrier, but I still appreciate the story, the storytelling, the novelty of the story. I feel it gets you to think deeply about love, what a person could or would do in the face of obstacles that feel impossible to overcome. This movie has been around long enough to have a driver's license. Do you know how old it is, Javi?
2004.
2004. How many years is that?
19 years.
19 years.
Yeah.
And it came out February 13th, a day before Valentine's Day.
Very nice. I would have taken you to it if we were around then.
I would have loved it if you did.
Yeah.
6 years old, let's go.
Okay,
you're 6, I'm 7, so I'll buy the tickets.
Oh, okay. Because you're older. It's only the right thing to do.
I'll drive too.
Okay.
I'll pick you up.
I was around 6 when this came out, so I've been watching this movie just throughout the years, just anytime it'd be on cable, when cable was still around. But when I was smaller, the comedy really hit. I don't know why it hit, but it really hit.
It's goofy.
It's goofy.
It's very goofy.
It's a little silly. It's a little immature.
It's good for. I mean, it's like immature, but also mature at the same time because it's like not appropriate for children.
Yeah.
In some parts, at least.
Yeah, and only childish adults would really
like us
find this really funny. But,
like you, we hope too.
Yeah, but now as an adult, I really. The emotions, everything hits a lot deeper.
Yeah.
I have a lot more empathy, and I can really fit my shoes. Like when all the events were unfolding, and I really saw the trauma that this family has been through. Man, I felt it. It's like, OMG, I can really imagine that, So it's changed for me in that way. So. Let's get into it. We're going to have a couple main points we're going to discuss with each other. We'll share our favorite moments from the movie, and we'll speak on this film from the aspect of two polyamorous people.
In love.
Oh my gosh. And then at the end, we'll just shut up and kiss.
What is this film about?
Okay. 50 First Dates. Henry Roth is a lover of animals and a hater of commitment. But half of that changes when Lucy Whitmore makes a Waffle House in front of his eyes. Dazed by her culinary construction skills, he courts her, and she is receptive to his advances. That is, until the next day when he realizes that she's forgotten him. Because he's so forgettable. And she has Goldfield syndrome. So he embarks on a mission to make her fall in love with him every day for the rest of their lives, just like every other fool in love. 50 First Dates.
Solid. Very good.
Thank you.
Okay.
So what's your first point?
I'll kick it off. So my first note, the one lady in the beginning of the movie who thought that Henry Roth's name, because he told her, was hairy pair of testicles.
It's just a little fling, but I will never forget my week with Henry Roth. Henry Roth.
Hairy pair of testicles.
maybe they're just so drunk. to get it.
But she's not drunk now. She's driving on the phone. Like, she's telling a close friend about this amazing encounter she had in Hawaii, and she believes his name is truly Hairy Pair of Testicles, and it's something that I will never ever
crazy.
come to grasp with. And I was like, let me try to figure out how one could even spell that. Pair of testicles. So, like, because it's like, if you had to think, okay, this name, Hairy Pair of Testicles, Harry, what is that, British, maybe? You know, all the Harrys that are coming to mind, British, perhaps. He's in Hawaii, but he's a white man. Can't make any assumptions, I suppose. But pair of testicles. What origin? What literally, You know, it's like, you know, the history of my name, for example. You know, my dad might have been lying to me, but he told me that we're damn Schroders. It's kind of a rare one to come across. You might come across a Schroeder. And what he communicated to me was that our family, our people in Germany, there were a village of Schroders, and we were the dam Schroders because we lived next to the dam. So that's the thing about names of origin. I don't know if I ever told you this, but back in elementary school, I dated in quotations, because it's elementary school, a boy, a blonde hair, blue-eyed boy. His name was Lynch. You get what I'm saying? Like, what's your family known for? You get what I'm saying? So that's my point, is that people were named after what they were known for.
Hairy Lynch of testicles.
Hairy Pair of Testicles is what his family is known for. I'm going to say it's French. And I'm trying to think about how to spell it, and I can't. So this just really baffles me. It's just something that I've never understood.
Can you say hairy pair of testicles in a French accent?
Hairy pair of testicles.
Hairy pair of testicles.
Hairy pair of testicles. I don't even know if it's a French accent.
Let's not offend all the French people.
I'm sorry.
I apologize deeply for my bad French accent. Adam Sandler in this is Riz King.
Riz King. Truly.
He's a smooth talker. He's
He
very
is.
smooth. And that kind of leads into my first point. Adam Sandler. What a god.
Let's all bow down to our king.
He's not the first choice that I would have for a romance lead, but in a rom-com, he's got the comedy for sure.
In his face.
He's funny looking.
He's funny looking.
He's a goofy dude. You know, he's quick with the jokes.
Yeah.
You know?
There's this ongoing joke about how his head is shaped like an egg.
True.
I could see it, but it's not something I would have naturally have come to.
An ostrich egg. Yeah. So, Adam Sandler in the 2000s, and still now, in the 90s, had a run. But in the 2000s especially.
Yeah.
Like, that's when he just...
Yeah.
So, in the year when this movie came out in 2004, in the year 2000, he did Little Nicky, Punch Drunk Love, and all the way up to 2004 when he did 50 First Dates, he did 15 other movies.
Wow.
So 17 movies from 2000 to 2004. Then from 2004 on, he was doing films like Spanglish, Click, Don't Mess with the Zohan, all the way up to 2010 when he did Grown Ups. So this dude has just been like boom, 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 boom. Never stopped working. It just goes to show his incredible talent. Something that I see sometimes in Adam Sandler films is that he'll lean really heavily into a character or to angry emotions, basically, like yelling a bunch, like in Billy Madison, or in Anger Management, or leaning in really heavily into that character in The Waterboy. The Waterboy, like, I can understand, like, it's a good character, and like that tone is awesome. But in a lot of his films, like his more dramatic roles, like in Punch Drunk Love or Uncut Gems, I applaud his reserve in his tones, knowing the control, those spurts, those outbursts. A lot of comedic actors can make the transition to dramatic acting, but not a lot of dramatic actors can make the transition into comedy. So he's one of those few rare gems. He's GOAT.
High key.
Yeah. Also his basketball game.
5'10" in height.
5'10", yeah. And amazing shooter.
You said he's got hands?
Handles.
Handles.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
He knows he can dribble the ball really well.
Oh.
Yeah.
How did you find this out?
I've just seen videos of him. You know, I follow basketball.
Really?
Instagrams and stuff, and I see him
Cute.
on some videos sometimes.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the whole Billy Madison thing makes me think, oh, Adam Sandler plays golf. He probably does too. I don't know. Probably.
Did he play golf in Billy Madison?
Wait, there wasn't.
That's not Billy Madison.
Well, I to be honest, I don't think I've seen that movie.
Oh.
I know. I'm sorry.
All right.
But
let's just skip along so the people don't
get mad at me. Okay. So, are you cool?
Yeah,
here
that was my whole point.
Okay.
That was Adam Sandler. Awesome.
Okay.
Him and the director, by the way, real quick. Him and the director of this film, Peter Segal, they also did anger management together. Mm-hmm. Peter Segal, he's like done like The Longest Yard, Get Smart with Steve Carell.
Get Smart. Oh, I love that one.
Yeah, he's done a couple flicks out there, but I think
Anne Hathaway.
Yeah, right. But I think this is probably his best film. I think.
Interesting.
I haven't seen The Longest Yard. That's probably more critically acclaimed, but this is my favorite Peter Segal flick.
Word. And I think I read online that Anger Management started filming 3 days after the conclusion of 50 First Dates. Mm-hmm. That's pretty wild. You know, this sounds really hard. Like I don't remember for sure, but I feel like I heard somewhere that actor filming days are like 12-hour things.
Probably.
It sounds really hard.
Yeah.
And to have to like pull on emotion like that in your daily life, you know, and convey it, you must get really deep into those kinds of things. I bet it can really mess up your psyche.
And there's like directors like David Fincher will do like 100 takes or something.
Oh my
like
goodness.
Just again. Or Jackie Chan, he does the same thing.
And he does his own stunts too, which I bet is like a whole other layer of. Yeah. And it like circling back to Anne Hathaway, when she did Les Miserables, there's that one scene of her, I think might be literally in a coffin. And she wanted to do that take over and over and over again. And she's just like, oh, she's like a dead flower in that scene. Just like, a wisp of nothing.
That's why they get paid the big bucks.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So what's your next film?
Yeah. So I think that Henry is actually so sweet in his encounters. The women at the beginning all really seem satisfied with their time with him, and I think he gave them memories that they'll cherish forever.
It was the best week of my life. It was just a little vacation romance. But he was so sweet. He took me to all these cool local places. We went scuba diving, snorkeling, mountain climbing.
昨天到什么地方去？悬崖跳水。对呀，我很喜欢他。
Well, we got a little drunk. He gave me a back rub. We slow danced in the rain. But it wasn't just about the sex.
Okay, so that's a lot of stuff. Like, what was snorkeling, scuba diving, you know, for two, constantly, you know, appeasing women like that. I just think that's like a lot of effort to put into wooing a person. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I mean, like, that's great. I feel like that's healthy and admirable. That being said, does the lying eliminate the power of that? Do you think that the power is taken or given away, or taken away from women or given to women in these interactions? I'm just wondering what you think.
Well, I mean, if they're left with the positive memory of it, then it feels good for them.
Yeah. But the ethics of it. Sure, I hear that, and I think that's great, cool. I feel like that answers my question. What do you think about it ethically?
I mean, he's doing it out of a negative and positive thing.
What does he want from them? Because it seems like it's just sex, but to have all of these excursions and to spend all this time, give people back rubs and all that stuff, it feels very romantic, don't you think?
Yeah, he's looking for connection at the end of the day, but he has this whole fear of commitment. And he gets what he wants for a little bit, but then he just bounces because he knows the long term is approaching.
He just gets scared.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Well, yeah, that's me.
Cool. So, in my second point in the movie, Lucy is said to have Goldfield syndrome. But Goldfield syndrome is just a fake medical condition that was made up by the writer, George Wing. There's actually a memory disorder that's similar to what Lucy is experiencing called anterograde amnesia, which is a disorder that stops the brain from forming new memories, like Lucy in the flick. There's a lot of real life examples of this happening, but I just want to talk about some fictional characters that have these things, like Dory from Finding Nemo.
Yeah,
suffers from this kind of disease, and
she got that 2-second Tom one.
10-second Tom.
10-second Tom.
Yeah, she's quick with it. So when these stories use amnesia as a plot device, it can be really hit or miss. Like either knock it out of the park or you want to throw up at it. Like the Bourne series, they do it in a really engaging manner because you're just as lost as this character, and this is it's a thriller. You're trying to find the clues with this person.
Would Shutter Island be a good example of that, or no? Because he's like more crazy, right? Mm-hmm. Just feels like he's rediscovering his memories as he goes about the film.
I guess so. Yeah, that's an example.
Cool.
Yeah,
I'm with you, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm right there on the track.
I think Jane the Virgin does it in a cheesy way that doesn't work for me.
Oh, with Michael?
Yeah, because spoiler
I didn't
alert,
like that.
Yeah, for anyone that hasn't watched that.
Lo siento.
Sorry. They in that specific example, and it happens in other flicks too, where they just fit it in there for the sake of the plot because that's the way the writers want it to go. It works in 50 First Dates because that's the whole film. That's the biggest part of the film. It's not thrown in at the last second as a Deus Ex Machina or a Hail Mary to save the story.
And they delve into the pain that it creates.
Yeah, it's a whole theme, and it investigates the characters and how they tackle this disease and their loved one and how they navigate their story with it. I love...
I would say it's more of an illness.
Yeah.
What do you say, disease or illness? It feels different.
Mm-hmm. What did I say? What?
You said disease.
Yeah.
That's like something that spreads versus an illness or like a chronic condition.
Like disorder, whatever. Yeah,
okay.
It's all the
sure.
same.
It's not. I don't think it's the same.
Yeah. I was watching an interview with Drew Barrymore.
Oh, okay.
Talking about this. And
oh my goodness. What did our queen say?
It kind of... she kind of echoed what I feel about this, especially like the ending of it, where... You know, a lot of people, you would kiss and boom, this day is saved. She remembers and boom, it's all cool now. Love has saved the day. But in 50 First Dates and in real life, you have to work at it every day. There is no one thing that happens and you're all done happily ever after. It's a daily practice. Every day you got to start again and earn that love from that person.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, the family's dilemma is so heartbreaking. Lucy and her emotions as she discovers her condition every time. It's so tough. And there's nobody to be mad at. You know, there's not a bad guy. It's just bad luck of the draw for these people. But because they love each other so much, they care for each other and they get through each day.
They put in some crazy amount of effort.
Yeah, what the brother and the dad go through every day to preserve her happiness.
Unfreeze, de-thaw the pineapple. Watch, The Sixth Sense every day, every night. Watch the same football game. Repaint the bedroom. Mm-hmm. What else? Pay for her breakfast every single day at the diner. Mm-hmm. You know, what else?
And then those people at the diner.
Wash her clothes the night before, and the people at the diner, they look out.
That goes around her.
She's
not just a family.
Yeah, completely surrounded by support from people who love her.
Mm-hmm. That is until Adam Sandler comes in and saves the day. And she remembers everything. So yeah, that was just the whole amnesia thing, and like how it really elevates everyone. Like everyone steps up to the challenge, basically steps up to the plate. That's the film's biggest strength for me. Yeah, that was my point. What about you? What's your next one?
Why is Henry Roth so mean to his coworker Alexa? Played by Louisa Strauss. Of course, gorgeous. You know, I did look it up. I needed to know. Yes, I love that when people are portrayed. I wouldn't necessarily say homely, but you know, like not the most attractive. And then you go up and look up their actress or their presenter or whatever, and they're just absolutely stunning. And I love being discombobulated like that. One thing that really bothered me watching this film this time was the scene where the walrus is prompted to burp. And, and I understand now. Adam Sandler initially wanted the walrus to just burp on Alexa. And instead the walrus decides to projectile vomit on top of her, completely, covering her in puke. And she's like, "This is why I'm here to help sick animal." And then he's like, "All right, go clean up." And she does. And then Henry starts jumping up and down like, "That's what she gets for eating my sandwich." And it's revealed it was all a ginormous trick. And he's like, I knew you were gonna burp on her, but I didn't think the puke, that was awesome. But so that's a bit harsh, I think for someone eating your sandwich. Though that being said, I've never done that. How do you go to any workplace and consume somebody else's entire lunch? Has that ever happened in anybody's life? I'm sure it's happened somewhere, but like, what is that?
I guess it was totally warranted then.
That's what she gets. Like, how would I feel if somebody straight up ate my lunch? Like, I think I'd be pretty pissed. So now that I'm thinking about it, maybe you're right. Maybe it is more warranted. But he called her a she. And that's my point, is that at this point he knows that she's a woman or identifies as one. And then later, so I'm wondering in this moment, this scene that I'm about to talk about, did he do this once again? Because now we've established that Henry is a prankster. He likes to get back at people when they wrong him. So was he trying to get back at her in this instant too, when she says, "I will give you one chance to," and then she says, "I'm going to go to your office. I'm going to be naked. Come meet me." And he's like, that's thank you, but like, I'm not into dudes. And her face just drops. And I'm just like, okay, she tried to seduce her supervisor on shift. Is he saying this because it was an inappropriate thing, or did he straight up just kind of invalidate her entire identity? And that's what it felt like. It feels like the latter, for a joke. And I didn't appreciate that. And then again, he does it when he declines the offer to have sex with that tourist that his bestie sets him up with. And he's lying to the tourist, and she's drinking this whole fishbowl of like alcohol. But he reveals to her that the drink's actually non-alcoholic, and it's like a placebo that he does to women to trick women to think that they're drunker than they are, so that they can have longer sex, be conscious to make a consensual decision, which the ethics for that I think are very great. But in that moment, he says, "I'm not going to have sex with you. Your drink's not alcoholic. And if you want to have sex with somebody, there's a dude right over there." And he's talking about Alexa, his coworker. And Alexa waves, and she's like, "Isn't that a woman?" And he's like, "I'm not sure, but you're too drunk to notice anyway, right?" So that's like, I'm confused. Like, is this just his like kind of like petty attempt to get back at her for two things that were inappropriate, or is he straight up just like called her she and then invalidated her identity the rest of the film? What do you think?
Yeah, there's a lot of bad humor in this.
Yeah,
that's targeted and mean. The sexist jokes. There's fat-phobic jokes. From a lady who's fat too. Like it didn't make sense.
She was morbidly obese, and she says to a larger man, "Oh, we're talking about she's a waitress or potentially the owner." She's the owner of the diner. Diner, I think, is more. I like it. I like the word diner. It's very cute. So the owner of the diner says to her cook, what's she call him? Jumbo or Fatso or something like that.
She called him Shamu.
Shamu. You're right. That was very weird.
Kind of an Uncle Tom situation or something like that.
What's that mean? Uncle Tom?
Uncle Tom's like a term for well, originally, I mean, you could use this for anything, but originally it was just a term for a black man who's racist against other black colorism. Yeah. So there's also like a trans guy on the beach at one point, and they play off him for laughs, like his trans identity. So there's a lot of those jokes here. That's kind of leading into my third point, where this 2000s era of humor is still pervasive, even in a film with good writing, good dramatic writing.
It doesn't come off. It's not like one of those other movies that were set up for this kind of comedy. It came off. It was a sweet film with some jokes. Yeah,
compared to most of the junk from 2000s, this is pretty light.
It's still pretty good. Yeah, I still really enjoy it.
Yeah. My whole thing is just anytime I get a whiff of it, it's off-putting to me.
Yes, I agree.
I'm like, this again.
It's like we're smelling the fish, and Lucy's like, but we're like, no, it's not good.
That's fish smell.
That's a fish smell.
Yeah. It's just like the things with anytime I see this monogamous theme of Adam Sandler, where he's fooling around until he finds the one that's gonna fix him and gonna stop him from this problem of sleeping around and living this playboy life. And it's like that's a monogamous idea that I just get tired with. I'm very bored by it at this point.
Yeah, it's pretty pervasive in a lot of the cinema that was up until this point. I'm thinking of Barney from How I Met Your Mother. He does the same things, but his thing is definitely centered around sex. I'm sure, like maybe at the core of him, like if he went to a therapist and talked about his need for connection and the way that it manifests, it would probably be this like really deep and unsettling kind of discovery, but it's the tone of it, the lightness and the humor targeted at a viewer is the same.
Yeah.
Weird. My next point is why did the cook call Henry Roth peanut butter cups?
You like the peanut butter cups?
Yes.
You want for me to put peanut butter cups in your eggs?
No, that's okay.
Peanut butter cups. Hey, Mr. Peanut Butter Cups.
Hey, Mr. Could Kill Me in One Punch. How you doing?
Then for the rest of the film, he proceeds to call him peanut butter cups when he was clearly the person who brought it up. I just don't get it.
Maybe, I don't know.
I just don't know. It's like what could I even compare that to? Like you have a bracelet on and you're like, hey, you like beads? All right, beads. Just something, maybe that's even more spot on than what this guy did.
The writers just needed something to connect those two, and a nickname would be something to draw a little bit of a closer connection between these two characters.
Yeah, and then in the end, when Henry goes on the voyage with the boat, he gets an entire box of literally just Spam and peanut butter cups because it's that connection. So, but it's just so weak. Like, if Henry had come in with peanut butter cups, maybe they could have even gotten some sweet sponsorship. Look at Reese's right on the counter. Eats one. Hey, you like the peanut butter cups? Yeah. You want me to put the peanut butter cups in your eggs? No. That would have been a little better, I think. Super weird. Very perplexing. You mentioned this earlier. Why is Henry so afraid of commitment? And I made a really good, I made a point to pay attention to when he talks about his backstory. I even tried to look up his age and I couldn't figure it out. I was wondering if you knew how old he was supposed to be in this film. No. If you could guess.
No.
If you could guess. You don't want to guess. 30? I would say middle-aged too. Would you say 30 is middle-aged? Maybe not. People live to 100. So 50 is middle-aged?
40 is middle-aged.
40 is middle-aged.
Yeah.
Not middle-aged then. He's a young adult, I guess is what we would call him.
He's an adult.
He's an adult. If I had to guess how old he is, I would also say 30. Okay. So that being said, the reason he's afraid of commitment is because he had a long-term girlfriend in college. Do not know how long this relationship was, but, for the sake of whatever, we're going to say it was like maybe all of college. Let's say it was 4 years or something like that. So his college girlfriend is gay and has an affair with her academic advisor and runs off. So I'm thinking he's afraid of commitment because he committed to a lesbian. What do you think about that?
What?
What do you think about being afraid of commitment because your partner cheated on you? Is that something that you feel would actually happen naturally?
I mean, if that's the only reason, I guess not. It just has to do, we've read Polysecure, where, what is his attachment style, do you think? What kind of family did he come from? That's all that has to do with that, but we're not given that family background. So what leads me to believe that he doesn't come from that good of a family, or something is broken in his family to where that one instance is all the reason that he needs to just not to accept that, okay, I'm not committing to anyone because it's bad.
Okay. I was wondering, because, time heals, right? How long ago did that happen? And I was trying to figure out his age, and also, how long ago was he in school? So apparently vets go to school for 8 years. So for him to be, we both agree, maybe 30, he might have gotten out of school maybe like 5-ish years prior to this experience. It just, to me, feels like a really long time to be holding a grudge against somebody who was a lesbian. You know what I'm saying? Like, if she's a lesbian, I just don't, I get you can be mad at someone for cheating you, but I don't understand how you can be mad at somebody for just discovering who they were and not being supportive of them, because I don't think that his partner went out of their way to hurt him. You know what I'm saying? They just discovered they were a lesbian, found somebody that made them feel like themselves for the first time probably in their entire life, and then decided to end the relationship. Who knows how it ended? It could have been this huge thing, but I was just really confused on how this one instance triggered such commitment phobia. I'm not even entirely sure how they're connected, to be honest. I was just thinking about that.
Gotcha.
I have a bunch of questions. I have all the questions. Why does Lucy wear the same clothes every single day? This is perplexing to me. She seems to have different cravings, every day she paints a different mural. All of her paintings in her, with the institute, I forget off the top, but I did write it down. The institute that she works in, they're all different. I was just thinking that she doesn't wake up the same every day. She thinks it's the same day every day, but she has different moods. So I'm just kind of confused why they would always pick the same outfit. I'm just kind of wondering if maybe at one point they let her wear something different. And she's like, where's my pink shirt? I was going to wear that today, Can you imagine how annoying that would be to go through this experience where, because you want to make it as easy for yourself as possible, right? They have probably done this 1,012 different times, and the easiest solution for them was to just wash her clothes every night. So I was just wondering, did she really care, or is this just an extra step they're doing to make her feel safe in the bubble they've created for her?
I wonder.
Another question. Do they track her periods? How does she react when her period comes? What do you think?
I'd just be like, wow, this one's early.
I would be freaking out if I guess it's only a few days you'd be freaking out, but I guess she doesn't consistently remember that her periods are at a weird time all the time, but I don't know, when did she, I'm wondering when she had her last period, because, hypothetically, what if she had her period the week prior to this experience, and then she just gets her period again? That I would be like, what's wrong with my body? So I was just wondering, if I were in that kind of situation as a parent, is that something that I would know? I don't know. Next question. Ula put a joint in his butt crack. I saw him do that. His butt crack's just hanging out. Not my favorite. And then he just shoves the joint in, mouthpiece first, right in there. Do people do that?
Just trying to get some chocolate flavor in there.
Oh, God. I don't know. I've never in my life seen it. I hope I never see it ever again, except when I watch this movie. I was wondering, when Lucy starts her journal that she starts writing after it's communicated to her on a daily basis that she has this memory problem, I wonder how she puts it in the room for her to rediscover it every single day and then add to it. Something I really appreciated about what Lucy communicated was that she feels like when she reads the journal, it feels like she's getting told about her life from herself. And I was thinking about that too. Like, I don't know if you've ever kept a journal. I've recently kept one for about the last year or so, and I just add to it randomly. And sometimes I forget what I write, so I can kind of relate to that feeling of being told about my life by myself. And I just think that's really cool. But I was wondering, like, where would I put a journal to discover it every day before I went to go watch a video? You know what I'm saying? Like, she's dressed, in her room, comes down ready for the day. There's just a book sitting there that she's never seen before. Wouldn't you be inclined to touch it? You get what I'm saying? Like, where would she put it? I'm just wondering.
Maybe on the door handle. I don't know. Places.
I don't know. I was trying to think about if I did that, I would go on Canva, design a cute little thing that says, "Hey Hailey, read this, smiley face, don't cry, have a good day, love Hailey," or something like that. Oh goodness. Do you remember when they broke up and Henry saw Lucy at the aquarium? And okay, one thing, imagine seeing your ex and they don't know who you are. That is sad. Yeah. That
breakup scene when they're in the rain and everything.
Oh, God.
Has one of the best liners, like, "Can I have one last first kiss?"
Oh. Yeah, in the rain.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Like, would I be comfortable standing in the rain like that? I'd be like, now I have to immediately shower. Like, this is horrible. But my point is, she went to go visit the aquarium. And what?
I was going to say about kissing in the rain. One time when I was in high school, I tried to kiss my high school girlfriend in the rain. I was like, "Look, it's raining, let's kiss."
Oh, God.
And I took her out there. She was like, "Get the no."
She's like, "No, it's raining." It's not. It doesn't necessarily translate to real. Okay, but circling back, so she goes to the aquarium, and there's the theme in this movie is that towards the end, she dreams of Henry. I'm wondering, because this isn't part of her pattern. There's never a Sunday where she goes to the aquarium, and if there was, he would already know her. He'd be like, "Oh, that's that one, crazy lady who never remembers me and comes to the aquarium every couple of times," and he would know her. He didn't, and she just came. I'm wondering if that's because she was dreaming about him. What do you think?
Hey, but she was there with her brother and dad.
I don't remember seeing them.
I believe they were.
I thought she was alone. I don't remember seeing them with her.
Well, if she was alone, then
I just think that's interesting. And it's also like, if it was her brother and her dad attending her, why would they bring her there where they know Henry is? They know how heartbroken he is. I think she was alone. I don't remember seeing her family with her.
Well, yeah, she was. I saw a parallel between you and Drew Barrymore's character.
Excuse me? Excuse me?
Because they both filled up their rooms with art of their lovers.
I think I have drawn you well over 40 times. I find you deeply inspiring.
Yeah, she drew my face so many times. She went to other body parts. She drew my butt.
Oh, when did I do that?
It's right above our butt.
Oh, you're right. I didn't draw that. I just painted your butt, and then I had you sit, and that's how that happened.
Yeah, she gets creative with it. She gets so bored drawing just my face.
No, I can never get bored drawing your face. And I guess Drew Barrymore, or Lucy, doesn't get bored of drawing Henry either. Yeah. I gotta figure out what food your head best resembles. So I can draw that cool, kind of similar style egg painting she did of Henry. Oh. That's my favorite one. The one she did of him as the egghead.
Yeah.
That cracks me up every time I see it.
I wonder who did all the art for that.
I actually have a note on that. Her work in her studio is extremely diverse, and it doesn't give way to any one particular style, and that's because it's 3 different painters. The credits list them as David Carberry, Cole Chetney, and Samuel Pactel.
Nice. Props to them.
Yeah, hell yeah. I wonder who did the egg one, because that one is my freaking favorite. I love that one. So, okay. Also, just to add on to that last one, the aquarium scenes were shot at the Six Flags in California. I thought that was pretty cool.
Off Loke.
Yeah. So one of the things that I'm wondering about is, why does the doctor say mixed things to the family regarding Lucy's condition? I just think, like, you should be very careful in your word choice when you're describing a chronic condition to somebody. So, like, in the beginning, he says her memory most likely won't return. That's not what he says later when he does the house visit and he says that really crude thing about his mother-in-law. He says impossible, that it will not happen. So I'm wondering why he says those things, because most likely provides hope. Impossible provides no hope. And I just think, as a doctor, that was really irresponsible. What do you think?
The writers needed him to say impossible to deepen the stakes. You know?
Yeah.
Make it tougher mission for Adam Sandler to win her.
Yeah. Yeah, and then for also, like he says impossible, and then Henry goes on that boating trip and he listens to that song being replayed over and over again, and then all of a sudden he has this hope, even when he's been told most likely and impossible, that she is remembering him. I don't know, I just wanted to point that out. Do you remember what Lucy's favorite flower was?
Daisies.
Lilies. Yeah.
Lucy Lily.
Yeah. So I was just wondering, I wonder, because it's sometimes they put in certain symbols in films for us to catch. So I was looking at the symbol of the lily, and I would love your opinion on whether you think that this was purposeful. So the symbol of the lily is purity, innocence, and rebirth. Do you think that was a deliberate choice they made?
A lesser movie probably wouldn't have cared. They would have probably just picked rose or sunflower or something basic. But lily, it's a little bit more specific. And the rest of this film has good dramatic writing. So they probably had a good dramatic metaphor there.
Well, I'm thinking, so purity and innocence. So Lucy is something that needs to be protected. Everybody in the film works really hard to protect this flower. Rebirth. I'm wondering, I'm seeing this, like, you know, that she kind of transcends her forgetful life and leads this new life with Henry in the film. And I think that that's her rebirth. So I'm wondering if, I'm thinking maybe it was, but if it wasn't, that's what I love about that symbol.
Cool.
Last note, Sony Pictures initially considered a happier ending where Lucy was cured of her fictional illness, Goldfield syndrome. And I think, so it is fictional. I did not know that but until I looked it up. But I'm thinking they named it Goldfield because she has the memory of a goldfish. What do you think?
I guess so. I mean, I don't know where the name Goldfield came up with, because it was just the writer that wrote that.
Yeah, that's what I remember watching the film, and he was saying, oh, this is Goldfield syndrome. And I was like, who's Goldfield? You know, who's this made from? Who is this? The guy who discovered it? Is this the guy this happened to? But it's not real, which makes me think it's based off the word goldfish.
Probably. I read somewhere that that's not actually true about goldfish. They don't lose their memory like that.
Okay, but it is a proverb, I guess.
Either way, like, most people think that, so that's probably where that came from.
Yeah, and I doubt in 2004 they would know that.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like something that they would know. Idiots, all of them.
I'm probably the idiot. They're probably right. Yeah. I read some misinformation.
Okay, so those are all my notes.
Cool. So, you're a visual artist, and I am a musician. What did you think about visually how this film looked?
Visually,
any moments that caught you that you thought were cool?
Something that I thought was cool was the locale. You know, I think we can all agree Hawaii is very beautiful. So this was filmed in California on the island state, but I think mostly in Oahu in Hawaii. Apparently filming in Hawaii was pretty difficult. The lighting from the sky, I read, was either really bright or dark because of the clouds or the weather, and it required a lot of skill and patience to work with. Like I said earlier, I really appreciate Lucy's paintings. Her work in her studio is actually extremely diverse, which is like what we mentioned, all the different types of artists. And for me, like looking at the visual aspects, that's definitely what I noticed the most.
I like some transitions in the very beginning, which I'll talk to.
The one with the pineapple.
Yeah, I'll talk about the pineapple a little bit later. But the music was like kind of basic. It's just like some regular pop tunes. Nothing really to write home about.
Forgetful Lucy is my favorite song.
Oh, I forgot about this one. Yeah, that's the highlight song.
Yeah.
That's the best
So,
one.
and I was actually thinking the song is really sweet, but it also it's a little crude too.
Tequila was the place where I first saw your face. We liked each other right away, but you didn't remember me the very next day. Forget it's got a nice capucine.
With the dolphins in the back.
Oh my god. They jumped out of the water in synchronicity 3 times.
Yeah.
My goodness.
I just want to give a prop to those animal trainers.
Oh,
I looked it up. I can only find one animal trainer, but his name was Michael K. Osborne. That walrus, as good as an actor as the leads. Like, wow. Jumping up, clapping, doing all the things that he needed to do. Fantastic animal trainer. Props to the man. So I wanted to speak really quick on that metaphor that I was talking about the pineapple. Right? So the pineapple, I think they really missed an opportunity there.
What do you mean?
Because the pineapple was like the first thing we see on that beach.
It's true.
And then we see it on that counter.
Yep.
Awesome transition. Fades.
Yeah.
It's perfectly set in the frame, and it just fades perfectly. And it's beautiful.
It's
Great
also
transition.
my favorite transition.
Yeah, it's awesome. And that pineapple keeps popping up all throughout, but they never do anything with it. Not really. You know, they had a chance to really say something with it, but they didn't. They invested us emotionally with it because that was the whole point of why they were in that car accident. Because they wanted to get that pineapple
For the tradition of the dad's birthday.
Yeah, so they really emotionally invested us into the pineapple, but then after that, we don't see the pineapple again.
Where's the missed opportunity?
They could have had the pineapple show up again at another pivotal point and drawn some parallels or some kind of connection, but they never did.
Yeah.
So there's just a little bit of a missed opportunity.
What if, I got it, wait, real quick. What if in the painting of the egg, it was actually a pineapple?
They could have done something there.
Do you like that?
Yeah, they could have done that.
Do you think that would have been more successful?
Something like that.
I think it would make more sense for the theme of Hawaii as well. Because it's like at no point do we ever see that Lucy thinks he looks like an egg. I don't remember her ever saying that. I don't remember that ever being brought up. And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess his head is a bit ovular. And just like, okay, this must have been like a long running joke about Adam Sandler, maybe as an actor. But you're right, maybe in the film, like, you know, another symbol and it would have been nice, and maybe that would have been a cool place to put it because it also has that kind of same ovular shape, or it could be easily manipulated with paint to look like that.
Yeah.
I think that's cool, like especially in that painting in particular, because the pineapple clearly symbolizes love. I think it would be really cool to have that.
Yeah. If there is a metaphor, it was too vague for anyone to notice.
I agree.
Yeah, fun fact. Swingers actually use pineapples as a sort of calling card.
Excuse me, what do you mean?
Yeah, I've heard they pop it up on top of their shopping carts and go around supermarkets and as a sort of signal to
You're kidding.
No, for real. Yeah, sort of signal.
What do you have to do? What do you do?
I don't know.
What do you mean pop it up on the shopping cart? What does that mean?
I don't know how it works. we're not swingers, but you know, that's what I've heard happens in the swinging community. If any swingers want to correct me, please do.
Yeah, we want to know.
Educate me. You want to talk about the polyamory aspect of this?
Absolutely, I do. Absolutely. Do you want me to go first?
Please.
Okay. Polyamory themes. Henry is a whole player in the beginning of the movie. I don't think that how he maneuvered was very ethical, as he lies to women about what they're drinking and his entire identity. But let's talk about solo poly. What is solo poly? Solo polyamory means that someone has multiple intimate relationships with people, but has an independent or single lifestyle. I think Henry could have pursued this route and consequently had more authentic relationships.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Most definitely. He could have just been solo poly with these women, with Lucy as well. With Lucy, I'm not sure if that would have really worked out.
I don't think with Lucy,
because she doesn't
has
have
a monogamous mindset and no room to change or grow.
She also doesn't have the ability to consent to that day after day.
It's
and
true,
and
yeah.
the family would not let her. Would not consent to that happening.
Yeah.
So that just will be off the table. But Adam Sandler definitely could have been solo poly for sure.
Yeah.
But
at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, he has this whole thing with commitment. I don't know if that's all it would have taken for him to be like, oh, I don't have to commit to nobody. And it's like, well, he still has to put in
effort
a
and
commitment.
It is a commitment.
Because it's commitment to multiple people. So if anything, it's his fear times 10.
You might be right. You might be right.
So I don't think it would have worked out for him or
Yeah, especially if he's lying about his name. Like that's the number one thing is, hello, I am. Like, he's lying about that.
Hairy pair of testicles.
I'll never forget, never forgive. So how this relates to Lucy, if Henry did not participate in all this romantic and sexual scheming, would it have impacted his ability to make Lucy fall in love with him so quickly every single day? It's kind of like he was practicing for her.
Oh, well, that makes it feel a little slimier now.
What do you mean? Tell me. Why does it feel slimier to you?
He did all these negative things.
We agreed it was ultimately positive.
Sure.
Yeah.
We're supposed to view it as slimy. We're supposed to view it as a negative thing.
Yeah.
He's not supposed to
be a
running
cute
around
thing
and do all this stuff.
Yeah, okay. Well, I actually think it kind of justifies the behavior a little bit more, in more of a profound way, because if he wasn't so good at manipulating, I guess is like maybe a more unkind way to phrase it, but just also to say manipulation is a superpower. It depends on how you use it. And I think that in this situation, he used it to make some people happy, and that's what they walked away with, except for the women. I think in particular, he told one woman that he couldn't pursue something with her because he was married. That's not a great lie, but it's definitely solid. There's no wriggle room there if you're ethical. But yeah, so I actually think that it makes it more justifiable, because if he wasn't equipped with this practiced skill, he wouldn't be able to pursue the woman of his dreams, which is also so interesting. Like, let's just touch on that, is that Henry, his whole thing about commitment phobia and making women fall in love with him and going on these like crazy adventures to make women feel a certain way is completely manifested with this one woman who never knows who he is every single day. It's like she's the tourist. She's every tourist that he's ever been with.
Yeah, the chase never ends.
Yeah. So, and speaking of that, I'm actually really glad about the way you phrased that. NRE. What is NRE? New Relationship Energy, the state of mind experienced at the beginning of sexual and romantic relationships, typically involving heightened emotional and sexual feelings of excitement. So to kind of dive a little bit deeper into that, talking about hormones, talking about chemicals, this is a quote I found from Why Good Sex Matters by Nan Wise, which is not a book that we've read, but now I kind of want to. The quote is, "We are experiencing high levels of oxytocin and vasopressin." So I'm familiar with oxytocin, but not vasopressin. But for everyone out there, oxytocin is the love hormone or cuddle chemical. It has an important role in many human behaviors, including sexual arousal, recognition, trust, romantic attachment, and mother-infant bonding. Vasopressin modulates social communication, social investigation, territorial behavior, and aggression, predominantly in males, and is associated with physical and emotional mobilization and helps support behaviors needed for guarding a partner or territory. It also induces dopamine release. We all know dopamine, the happy hormone. Dopamine is responsible for allowing you to feel pleasure, satisfaction, and motivation. Circling back to the quote, we are experiencing high levels of oxytocin and vasopressin, which is reinforced with even more sensual contact, and even cortisol levels, cortisol, the stress hormone, becomes elevated, since falling in love is a kind of stressor as the individual goes through the concerns and potential insecurities about the new relationship. So I thought that was really interesting because I went into the World Wide Web trying to find information that was solid to help me communicate NRE and the role that plays in their connection every single day. And I did not think about the stressors of a new relationship. I was just in and out of a relationship that was very powerful and profound and really exciting. And I felt nervous and scared and anxious, and that's all very heightened. And I didn't really consider how Lucy might feel, meeting somebody who she's clearly very attracted to, and he's showering her with all this love and affection and knows her so well every single day. How does she feel? And obviously we know that she comes to love him every single day, but is she nervous? Is she tense? Are her cortisol levels higher based on this author? So I thought that was really interesting to consider, and I will circle back to cortisol again to talk more about NRE. When we experience NRE, we light up our brain's pleasure center. Shortest way to put it, that induces addiction-like behavior that makes us want more and more of this new person. This is why we often refer to people being consumed by a new relationship. We can't eat, sleep, work, because all we can do is think about them. Also called the honeymoon phase, it can last weeks or years. So when some people enter polyamory and learn about new relationship energy, they may feel concerned that their partner goes out to explore newer connections, that they'll be left in the dust. What actually tends to happen more often is that the NRE of a new relationship becomes entwined with the older relationship, kind of reinvigorating the older connection. Circling back to cortisol in reference to Lucy's long-term health. As I was watching this film, I was wondering about how the stress of learning these deeply traumatic informations may affect Lucy's body over time. I felt that there was a huge spike of cortisol every day, which could lead to a lot of health issues and potentially even an earlier death. Reading that quote from Nan Wise helped me remember that the stresses of new love too. I went over all those earlier. These are not necessarily things Lucy knows about Adam Sandler thinking like, how do I look? What does he think of me? These are all guesses she's making and fears that she could be potentially having. I was initially thinking that all the pleasure of NRE constantly being released every day might offset the cortisol of the information dump she gets every day. But I'm curious what you think about NRE, the pleasure centers being so deeply lit up every single day from this constantly new connection, while also the imbalance of cortisol in her system. What do you think that would do to her?
I feel like she would probably just wake up super happy every day. She'd probably be energized and ready. Oh, it's time for my dad's birthday. Let's go. And she'd be ready to have the best day of her life.
That's so wild because it's like she's got the chemical reaction, but not the memory to back that up.
I kind of like how the movie ends where they're on that boat and everything, and she just wakes up and watches that video, and she's like, oh my God, look, a child and everything. But everyone's just really chill. And it's 10 years later or whatever.
Yeah, it's they're used to it. It's just a normal Tuesday.
It's very cash, and that new relationship energy probably has chilled out for Adam Sandler.
For him, yeah.
He's oh hey honey, how you doing? Go say hi to your mom. And he's just I don't know, eating breakfast or whatever, and he just goes back to his breakfast and he's chill. Yeah. And but her, it's new relationship energy every day forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So yeah, powerful stuff.
So. Now let's go ahead and favorite quotes, favorite scenes.
Hell yeah. Okay. Favorite quote. This one is mine.
I was petting my walrus all morning and I was thinking about you the whole time.
I love that one. So the context of that is they're in the diner. This is the second time that Henry has interacted with Lucy, and it's been established that she loves the smell of fish because it reminds her of her fisherman brother and father when they come back from a trip, and she really, it's very a comforting smell for her. And then he's like, oh, my fingers smell like fish all the time. And she's like, I love that smell. And he's like, no, you don't. And she's like, I really do. Explains the story. The next day he comes in and says, I was petting my walrus all day thinking about you. Oh my god. He got chased out of that diner.
This little perv is thinking about me. I don't even know him. I'm looking through my windows. Oh, great. Yeah.
What's your favorite quote?
My favorite is from Dan Aykroyd's character, who's from Ghostbusters and a million other things. A great comedian. And he says, he's the doctor. Unprompted, he says the wildest shit. He says, "Sometimes I wish my wife had Goldfield syndrome. That way, she wouldn't remember last night when I called her mother a loud, obnoxious drunk with a face like J. Edgar Hoover's ass." What?
Yep.
Wow.
Shocking.
Can you imagine saying that to somebody?
A doctor. A doctor on a house call.
He's at work.
He's at work.
Yeah.
No, sir. No, sir.
He's saying that to a client.
Not this Tuesday, not last Tuesday, not next Tuesday.
Way oversharing. That's rivaled by the one in the rain where they're like, "Let me get one last first kiss."
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Chef's kiss. My favorite scene is the flashback they have. The flashback of Dad and Drew Barrymore
In the car?
in the car. You know, on that fateful day of the crash that they get that pineapple that they always do. And he looks over and Drew just looks beautiful with her hair flowing in the wind and the sunset. Oh, amazing. And the dad just looks so happy to be in the car with his little girl driving for this special little ritual that they do together. And just for a split second, he's just caught up in the beauty of the moment and just enjoying it. The beauty of these moments of what life has to offer. And then he turns back to the road and boom, a cow. A silly little cow just gets in the way. And
the cow's fine.
yeah, they swerve and boom, there it is. His little girl is now afflicted with this condition. And that same day that he used to love is now cursed.
His birthday.
His birthday. He has to relive it every day.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So just that scene and how quickly.
That's actually super heartbreaking. I never considered it from his perspective in that way before.
Yeah.
Wow.
That how quickly the tone changes and you realize how sad that is. Yeah.
Damn.
That's the moment that really got me today. Yeah.
That's sweet.
What's your favorite scene?
My favorite scene is when Henry comes back to the Callahan Institute to find Lucy and ask if she remembers him. She doesn't, and shows him her paintings. Like I said, the egg is my favorite, and I would happily display that in my home.
Yeah.
I think the reason...
the artist name.
Yeah, high key. I think the reason that this is my favorite is because we're getting this tragically hopeful reconciliation between two lovers who have no idea if they are doing the right thing and are just jumping in headfirst to the unknown come what may. The paintings were really moving to see as a viewer, but empathetically, when you try to relate to Henry, I can't imagine what it would feel like to be so unwaveringly in love with someone who has no memory of your entire history with them and never will. But then seeing all those paintings, be like, wow, like, that must have been so moving.
Feels like soulmates for her.
I'm choked up.
Yeah.
So sweet.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Okay. Could these problems be solved with polyamory? What do you think?
No.
I think no too.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe the solo poly thing, but then that would have he's afraid of commitment, and polyamory is a commitment. It's a very deep commitment. Despite
multiple commitments.
It's a lot of commitment, despite what a lot of people might assume is a polyamorous connection, and then when you kind of take it into the light of if he pursued solo poly, you're right. I didn't think about how Lucy just can't consent to that kind of relationship regardless of whether she would be okay with it or not. And also, if he was embarking on that solo poly journey, then he may not have had the same skills, which I think were valuable in his relationship to Lucy at the beginning of their connection. So yeah, I don't think that polyamory would have helped this one.
Yeah, took the words right out of my mouth.
Oh.
Yeah. No. But,
maybe next time.
We can't save everyone.
We can't save everybody.
Yeah. So, the last part of this show, every time we finish a movie, we love going on Letterboxd and seeing everyone's reviews. So usually we love a movie and everyone on Letterboxd hates it, and the opposite happens.
Makes us feel like real weirdos.
Yeah. Well, the average rating is 3.2. So 3 is good, 3 is good.
Out of 5.
Let's see.
The average rating is a little above average, basically.
Yeah. So 3 stars from Beck. She says, "I would want to forget dating Adam Sandler too."
No.
Damn.
That's a little rough.
Wow. Wow. 1 star from Vinny Thornburg. Imagine you are waking up like normal. You're in your everyday world. No kids, but a fiance.
No kids. And then she wakes up with a kid.
But a fiance. Loving family. You like your life.
Yeah.
Suddenly, you are told by Adam Sandler that you are actually married to him, have had multiple children with him,
Oh, God.
and live on a boat with him in Alaska. Repeat this day every day for the rest of your life. Now, what if I told you that this isn't a horror movie ending, but a romantic comedy ending? Hey.
So people aren't vibing. They're not, and that's what I'm hearing.
All right, some mixed reviews. So 4.5 stars from Lucy.
Lucy herself.
Lucy herself. Excited to announce the long...
She forgot she lived it.
Yeah. Excited to announce the long-awaited addition of 50 First Dates into the rom-com Hall of Fame. Everyone clap. Yay.
Hell yeah, definitely. For sure. It's definitely got that title.
They're commenting, they're quoting the video that she had to watch. Good morning, Lucy. Here are some things you missed this year. April, Snoop quits weed. May, Snoop back on weed.
I remember seeing that and I was like, no way.
If you cut out the nasty shit like Rob Schneider, I could stop there. Doing a racism and the low-grade misogyny, I get it. You hate your fat, ugly wife and your mother-in-law is a heinous bitch. Women, am I right?
Literally.
And the random transphobia, this would be cute.
Yeah. High key, that's exactly how I feel right now.
Yeah.
Well, I need to get this person's information.
There we have it. Hailey, let's end by giving our star ratings. If we're going to pop it on Letterboxd, what would you give this out of 5 stars?
Oh, goodness. What would I give 50 First Dates in the modern era? I kind of side with the general populace on that, like, 3.2, honestly.
Mhm.
What do you think?
You got to hit it at 3 or 3.5. We only do half stars.
Oh, well, let's do 3.5.
Me too. 3.5.
Yeah. Look at us.
All right. Well, cool. Appreciate all y'all tuning in.
Yeah, thank
and
you so much
listening.
for your time. It means a lot.
Yeah.
Really
Hope y'all
special.
join us for the next one. The next month, I am picking the movie.
What's the movie?
The movie 2002, Frida.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Yes. I
Get
cannot
ready.
wait. I'm so excited.
Get ready, baby. R-rated film. We're not holding anything back. Let's go.